Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. Hi. Hey. Hey guys. How you guys doing? Hi. Hi Kenya. Hi Paige. Look good, Godwin. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Oh, okay. Okay, so go ahead and jump right into it. So, to answer your question, Wildberry, um, no, you do not need to learn Python. It's good to have it, but it's not required right now at this moment. So it's some jobs, if you may see it for as a data analyst, it may ask you for Python or whatever. But if you branch out to other positions that's within the data analytics world, like I said, it does not require you to have Python. So no, it's not required. It's good to have it, but it's not required. I think in the future it's going to be required. But as of right now, I say if you want to become a data analyst and you are afraid of Python or you don't have experience with Python, I'm going to say get into data analytics now while it's not required, and then allow your job to pay for your Python experience. Okay? So that's just my take on it. But no, it is not required. Um okay. All right, I had a question in the chat. I mean in the what's your face the other day. Um let's see. Do you guys any if you guys have any more questions for me before I move forward with anything else? If I want to take the business analyst route, you did what route? You did what do I need to do to get started? Um, my thing is that the thing that you would need to know when it comes down, you do not actually have to be a data analyst to go the business analyst route, because again, a business analyst is totally different from a data analyst. So they're on the business side of things. So in order for you to get started with that, you're going to need Excel, maybe like the bare minimum. When I say bare minimum for SQL. Very Some of them don't even require you to code, but just at least know the bare minimum. You don't have to really get technical with it. But what you're going to need to know when it comes down to becoming a business analyst is you're going to have to make sure that your communication skills is 100% stellar. Like when I say stellar, stellar. Okay. Because you're doing a lot of talking. So a business analyst is not for an introvert. It is going to be really for an extrovert, because they talk a lot. They do a lot of presentations, and things like that. So you're going to have to know how to gather requirements. That is like the number one thing you're going to have to know how to do. And when I say gather requirements, meaning that you're going to have to learn to know how to ask questions based on if someone asks you to do something. So you have to be really good at being able to peel back onions and like the layers of an onion, like really dive deep into finding out what they want. So at least if you so to answer your question, so you're going to need to know at least Excel is very important. You're going to need to know how to gather requirements. You're going to have to make sure that you know some sort of ticketing platform, whether that's Trello, whether that's Monday, whether that's Jira, Salesforce, any type of ticketing platform that you can take on. You're going to need to know it. And then also you're going to need to know at least some sort of methodology, whether something like Agile or something like that. So that at least if you know those basic things, you can definitely become a business analyst, because that is what they do on a daily, and they do use those sources in order to be able to fulfill that job. Okay, so if you're not a talker, this won't be for you. Okay. um let's see. um let's see. Question. No, you do not need to be, you do not have to be certified to be a business analyst. No. Um, Now, the route you want to go from a business analyst would be like a project manager into a product owner, into the scrum master or something like that. When it gets into those roles, then yes, you will need to be certified. Especially like for a project manager, you definitely would need to be certified for have a PMP. I have a video on that that talks about those roles and whether or not you need certifications and what it requires. So I encourage you out there to probably go check that out, because I did talk about what a business analyst is and whether or not you need certifications and stuff like that. As someone transitioning into data analyst, a data analysis role, how best can you prove to potential employers that you are suitable for the job? My thing is that Godwin, my thing is that if you know it, then sell it. But you got to be confident within yourself, because they're not going to believe it if you don't believe it. Okay. So the best way to make sure that you are suitable for the role is when you get ready to answer questions, don't sell your knowledge, sell the experience. Okay. Sorry, my phone keeps chirping. I hate group chats. I hate when I get a group text. But anyway, so what I mean by that is like when they ask you a question, Godwin, and they say, tell me about a time when you and a coworker didn't get along, or not even that. Basically just say, I see on your resume that you have experience working with, I'm just going to use something like a primary key, right? You don't tell me what a primary key is. That's selling me your knowledge. I don't need the knowledge, because if you're going to just sell me, if you're just going to tell me the textbook answer, I could have looked that up myself. So that doesn't prove to me that you are suitable for the job, because you're just telling me what you've learned. I want to know your experience. So the way you answer it will determine whether or not if you're suitable for that role when it comes down to the employer thinking whether or not you're suitable. So what you're going to sell is going to be your experience. So when they say, tell me about your, I see you have experience working with primary keys, you're going to say something along the lines of, yes. So primary keys is something that I use a lot, and or something that I use and I create. And so by default, it automatically creates me a clustered index. And so I had this one particular table and it was really, really running slowly. So I decided to go ahead and implement a primary key. Now you're telling me about the time you actually use it. So now I feel comfortable that you're suitable for this role because you're selling me your experience versus your knowledge. Okay, so that's going to be the best way to show that you're perfect for the role. It's going to be all in how you answer it. So sell your experience, not your knowledge. Okay. You like chicken? Yeah, I like chicken. Considering you having a teaching as a background. Are you asking me if I have teaching in my background? Is that what you're asking me, Godwin? Because no, I do not, if you're talking about me. Let's see. My job tried to talk me into being a BA. I'm an introvert. No, that won't be for you. I learned real quick it is not for me. The talking part is exhausting. Yeah, like I said, if you're an introvert, then being a business analyst is not the role for you because they talk a lot. Do we need certifications for data analytics role? No, you do not need to be certified to be a data analyst. Can you talk about mental health? Talk about mental health like in the position. God, I hate group text. Okay, so the mental health aspect of it, my thing is that I don't stress out about this position. I really, really don't. Yeah, I don't stress out about this job. The thing about it is, in order for you to be able to make sure that you keep your mentals, that you just stay sane in this position, there are times where you will be challenged and it's going to be a lot, but don't stress about it. The thing is that you have the freedom to get up and walk away and get you some fresh air and go for a walk. I'd rather you do that than you have to leave because you done had a mental breakdown. This job is not that. I promise you, I'm not trying to be not trying to be coarse or anything, but it's not that serious. So my thing is that it shouldn't require you to stress about anything. And another thing is that if you don't finish something, don't worry about it. The work will be there tomorrow. If as long as you have that mindset that you're not going to complete everything in a day, because I don't. There's a lot that I have to do today on a freaking Friday, but I'm just like, it'll be there on Monday because it will. Okay. The only time you're really probably not ever going to be stressed if you're working on a really major project and there's huge deadlines. But as long as you get in and you do your job and you do what you're supposed to do and you keep that constant communication, whether and so letting them know whether or not you're going to meet deadline or not, then you should not be stressed about it. Okay. And you'll be very surprised how understanding this job really is, because they do, the right company will care about your well-being. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. um, how did you go about finding a mentor? My mentor actually came through the boot camp that I went to. So that's how I got my mentor. If you were asking me, that's how I got my mentor with mine came through Coldberry. Now I still don't have the same mentor that I had when I first got when I first started going to that school. My mentor now is actually my boss. So he is my actual mentor. Um, I'm in school for health information management. I like to get into healthcare analytics or healthcare informatics, which is a really good field. That is really good job security. That industry is really really good job security. The only thing with that is since you're already in healthcare, you just know that you have to always stay up on trainings and have to make sure that all your trainings is done. Make sure you understand HIPAAs and things like that. But other than that, yeah, that is, I highly recommend healthcare because that is like, seriously, like, that's job security right there. I promise. That and finance. Okay, Godwin said, I meant if you have teaching as a background, how do you showcase on your, oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought she was asking me if I had teaching. I was like, no. So I meant if you're having teaching as a background, how do you showcase your resume that you are suitable for a DA role? Even though you don't have the working experience, but you have the practical knowledge. Okay, so Godwin, the best way to do this is to make sure that in your current position, um, you start acting like a data analyst. So as a teacher, in the teaching background and things like that, what are some of the things that you can think that you can analyze? So when you're on your resume, instead of just saying I'm a math teacher, science teacher, or whatever, you have to start saying that you are a teacher slash reporting analyst, that you create reports based on, like the STAR test or whatever testing your students do per region and things. You have to start thinking like an analyst, and then actually actually creating those type of reports and things like that. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry guys. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what you have to do on your resume. You're going to have to start, instead of just saying that I'm a teacher and that I teach science or math or whatever, you're going to have to basically on your resume implement some data analytic responsibilities into your resume. And that means you're going to actually have to start doing it. Okay. So maybe it's not just reporting. Maybe you're just looking at maybe you collaborated with your principal or your superintendent about ways you can improve the school or the class or whatever. So you have to start thinking like a data analyst and then implement some of those data analytical responsibilities into your actual resume. Okay. Right. Again, so sorry guys. Okay. Right. Again, so sorry guys. Okay. Let's see. How would I create a resume, become a data analyst as someone who only has a CNA background? So, You just have to make sure that your resume is ATS friendly. On my actual channel, I did actually create a video of me walking you through on how to create an ATS friendly resume and how you can actually implement that. So it's the same thing for, like I told, for Godwin, even though you may be a CNA or something like that, you have to start thinking like a data analyst now, and then start implementing some of those data analytic roles into your actual current role. Okay. So you may be saying like, it might be something like you are a nurse, and then you're looking at staffing compared to other regions and like that. You got to start thinking analytical and then implementing those responsibilities into your resume. Let's see. I can provide my LinkedIn. I can put it in my post. So I can give my LinkedIn. Yeah, I could do that. That's no problem. I can definitely connect with you. I just graduated with my BS in health, health information management, trying to get into health data analytics. Well, congratulations. Again, healthcare is definitely job security, I promise. That's great to hear. La, da, da, da. I was a software engineer. I think you guys are talking to yourselves, to each other. Okay. Okay, so Love Brand, like if you, like I said, I know some of you guys probably have heard the term of you have to start dressing for the job you want. Well, that goes, so since we're not dressing like a data analyst, but you do have to start acting like a data analyst. So if you want to go into the data analytics world, you're going to have to start thinking like one. Okay. So that's why I was saying, so when you think like one, then you can actually start putting that information onto your resume and actually start doing it, start thinking like it, because when you get into the field or when you get into this role, you're going to start doing data analytics, activities and data analytics things. So it's good to go ahead and get the practice in. If you're not sure exactly how to actually do that, you can always go on ChatGPT and say, hey, I am a CNA nurse or whatever, and what would be some of the data analytical roles or some responsibilities that I could do or implement as a data analyst for this position? And it can definitely tell you some of the things that you can do. I know one person sent me his resume. I reviewed it, and I asked him, after I reviewed it, I said, are you getting any luck with this resume? Are you applying for jobs with this resume? And he was like, yes, I am. And then I was like, are you getting any luck? And he was like, no, not really. So I was telling him that his resume did not indicate anything about him being a data analyst. So basically, I'm basically saying that once I look at your resume, I can literally tell that you don't have experience, because you're not putting any type of responsibility on your resume to say that I can do this job. You're not thinking analytical. So that means I'm taking a chance on you. So if you want them to take a chance on you, you have to start thinking like a data analyst in your current position. Okay, you have to. So you have to start looking at your job and saying, so if I was like an Uber driver, so I'm an Uber driver, a lot of my mentees drive Uber and DoorDash, right? So if you are an Uber driver, you cannot think like the driver. You have to think as if you were the owner of Uber, right? You have to think like you're the business. So how do I know whether or not, so say for instance, one city does not have Uber, but how do I know if I want to put some cars over there, right? I have to start thinking analytical. So that means that I have to start looking at, well, during this time, how often are people using taxis or whatever? What are the peak times that I'm seeing most of my people being called for? Is it really just on the weekends, or do they still have it anytime are my peak hours on Friday through Sunday after 5 or at night on the weekends because people are out clubbing or having a good time? Is it really the holidays? Is it New Year's Day? Is it holidays? Like whatever. So you have to start thinking like that, because then you know whether or not, if if you need to expand, or do I need to get more drivers in that area? What regions, what area is actually using more drivers, more Uber drivers in the other area? Do I need to send more people to the airport or less people to the airport? That kind of thing. You have to start thinking like that. Don't think, oh, I'm just a driver. You have to start thinking like, like whether or not you have to start thinking like you the owner of the actual company, and what information can I use to help me grow my business? And that's how you have to think about it as an analyst. That's what your job is as a data analyst. You're there to help them you take their data and you basically say, based on the data that I got, you have to look at it and say, based on this information, how can I help you make the best decision for your company? Right? So here's an example for you, LaBram. Here's an example. So last Thursday, because today's Friday, so last Thursday, my customer service team came to me and said, these are all the columns that we have, right? I want a dashboard. If you can show us something that would actually help me to be able to figure out something regarding my call center. I said, sure. So this past week, I put together like a demo and all this other stuff, right? So then today, I literally had to present my demo. This is something you have to do too, people. So I had to create a mock-up, and I presented the mock-up. And I said, okay, so based on the columns that you showed me, I feel like this would be best for the call center. So I actually broke it down, and I show that based on this information, you can now see the average call time that each one of your agents are on the calls. And what are the peak times? I gave a trend bar as well to show what are the peak times that you're starting to see a lot more calls coming in. Do you see more calls coming in at 2:00 than you do at 6:00? Do you see more calls coming in at 6:00 than you do at noon? Like there's a trend that shows peak time. I actually have a pie chart on there as well that shows that the people that are calling in, what are they calling in on? Are they using like the mobile app? Are they using, like when they reach out to you, do they contact you by desktop? Are they using their mobile phone? Do they send an email? I have it broken down by device type. I break it down by so it's, in the average wait time, the queue time, how often are they in the queue? What are the questions are based on? So are you seeing more questions coming in based on, online banking than you would for checking accounts and things like that? Like that's the things that I break down. Okay. So I'm basically taking the data that they're providing me and I'm giving them a visual of what their whole department is doing. So that way they know how to make the right choices. So as you look at that trend that I created, what are the peak times? Now they know whether or not, like, if they need more people at 2:00 during the time shift, like between this time and this time, do I need more people in the office between this time and this time to help with the volume? Or do I need around the holidays? Do I need to bring in more contract people? Like this helps them make business decisions, but they didn't tell me what they wanted. I had to be able to see what I felt like was important to them based on the data that they gave me. And now I just pretty much put it together. Okay. So that's what you would be doing as a data analyst. Okay. So you can't think of it. So even if you are customer service, don't think of it as I'm the agent. You have to start thinking of it like that. Like if I was the owner of all of customer service, what would be important to me? What do you think I would want to see if I was the owner of customer service and I may need to improve or whatever? Okay, my department. Sorry, I know you mentioned it, but your live broke up. I didn't hear what you had said about your LinkedIn. I just said that I will provide you my LinkedIn. So I will put it inside of my post. So that's where I'll put it. I'll put my LinkedIn in my post. Okay. I'm glad you felt like it was valuable information. Okay. So yeah, so that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't really understand exactly what it is that we do as a data analyst. And this job is really not stressful. Like I would have to say like 85 to 90% of my job is real chill and breezy. Like I said, there's certain times where I do have to meet deadlines, but I make sure that I stay above it to make sure that I can meet deadlines because deadlines are very important for you as a data analyst as well. But you have to be a person you have to be really good at telling stories. I'll put it like that. He'll be really good at telling stories. Okay. But you're not the one talking. You're allowing your visuals or whatever it is that you create to tell the story for you. Okay. So my thing is that when you start working for a company in the beginning, you're not going to know anything about the company. So you're probably saying, well, I don't really know what to provide them if I don't know anything about the company. This is when you have to figure out who is this company and what's important to them. Okay. And this is when you just talk to the business and say, hey, I know you gave me this or whatever, and you want me to create it, but you know, what is important to you? What do you think you want to see? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid to ask those kind of questions too. So like customer service didn't give me anything, but I worked in customer service, right? So I knew like pretty much what I felt like might have been important to them, you know? But also, if you're not sure, you can always ask them. Don't be afraid to ask. You can ask and say, hey, it's okay. Can you just tell me, like, what is it that you think you might want to see? What is important to you? How are you pulling this information currently? What are you using right now? Because if you can understand what they're doing right now, then you kind of know how to actually turn this around for them automatically. So that's that. I apologize. My hair is a mess. I took my braids down. So, so I'm having that part. So anyway, okay. Any other question? Someone asked me about my investments. I did not want to really make a video about investments because I apologize, because my niche is really about data analytics. And I know that if I open up that can of worms about real estate investment, it's going to take my channel to a whole other direction. And I don't want to do that. No, I cannot create a totally different YouTube channel to talk about that, because honey, just this one channel is enough. Y'all, if any of you guys are content creators, you guys know that it literally takes about 6 to 8 hours to edit those videos. So it takes a while to edit those videos. But anyways, that's the reason why I did not create a video about the investment, my real estate investment. I mentioned it. Yes, I did. I did mention it in my previous video. I just didn't want to create a video about it because I was afraid that it would just open up another can of worms that would take us a whole nother direction. And I didn't want to lose my organic members who are here just to hear about data analytics and not about real estate. And on top of that, I'm no real estate guru. I just got really blessed. So I did a lot of reading. So I'm just going to say that. I'm a software developer. But I will be looking into CalledDewberry. Thank you. Oh, cool. So you're a software developer. Nice. Let's see. I would have to say my very first job that I had, they labeled me as a software engineer. But the duties that I did, it was data analytics, child. It was not a software engineer job. So, but that's cool. I love the fact that you're a software developer. So that means you're like a back end person. So, hey. Welcome to the front end, back end, whatever you want to be. Do you guys have any other questions or any other concerns, rebuttals, anything else? No? We good? We great? Okay. Then I will go ahead and end this live, but I will say this. If you are in the CalledDewberry class on tomorrow, for the April 26th, you're gonna get to see me tomorrow, like literally. So I will be there. Ali asked me to come and be a guest speaker. So I will open the class up tomorrow. So yeah, I'll open the class up tomorrow, introduce you guys and introduce myself, and then, find out about you guys, do a couple of introductions and things like that. And then Ali will come in. And so that's that, because I have to get ready to go out of town. Also, any of my New Orleans people, I will be in New Orleans within the next 2 weeks. So if you were there, I would love to meet you guys, because I know when I went to Baltimore, a lot of people was like, hey, I was in Baltimore. I wish you had known. So Yeah, so if you're in New Orleans or close to New Orleans, maybe in Mississippi or whatever, I will be in New Orleans. I'll post what day, but I'll be in New Orleans. So I would love to meet you guys. If you're there. What's the best day and time to stay tuned for your lives? So I have made it my I have made it my mission to try to come on lives every Friday, but it would have to be on my lunch break. And so my lunch break is always from 12:30 to 1:30 on Fridays. My lunch break varies throughout the week. That's the reason why I don't try to do it like Monday through Thursday. My lunch break, I may not even get a lunch break, or I may get one, but it may be at 1 o'clock. Another day, it might be at 11. Because so your day is different. Every day is data analyst. So if you're that kind of person who has a job where you know that you go to lunch at 12 o'clock every time, that's not data analytics. You go when you can get one. Okay. That's how it go. So, but on Fridays is the day. Is the week, the day of the week that I know for certain that I will go to lunch at 12:30, because I really don't do a whole lot of working on Fridays. So I schedule my lunch break at 12:30 to 1:30 on Fridays. So I decided, since I know that that is my steady time, it will be Friday. So I said that I was going to go live every Friday from 12:30 to 1:30. So yeah. You said that you are unmotivated to study. Okay, this is my thing. When I went through my whole, when I was going through it as well, through the whole training and learning how to be a data analyst and things like that, I promise you, there were plenty of times where I just didn't like, I didn't feel motivated, and I did not feel like I wanted to do it. There were days I just didn't want to, right? And even just being in this job, there you have to learn how to deal with burnouts as well. But to answer your question, to address that, you have to make sure you remember your why. Why are you doing it in the first place? There has to be a reason why you're doing it. Is it because you want a better life? Is it because you want financial freedom? Is it because you want the flexibility? What is the why? What is the reasoning for you doing it? And for me, I used to, like I said in one of my videos, I had a sticky note that was on the back of my headboard, and it said, every day that you're not studying, every day that you are asleep, are not doing or turning in your homework, is every day you have to go back to the job you hate, right? So I would put different sticky notes all around my house, all on my mirror. I used to watch a TV show that was called Being Mary Jane, and that's where I got it from. So it just reminded me to make sure that I stay motivated. And even in this position, I still have to stay motivated, because I'm not gonna lie to you all. Y'all may think that every Sunday I'm like, woo, get to go to work tomorrow. No, there are some Sundays where I'm just like, I just don't feel like it, Lord. I just don't. So, you have to deal with burnouts, not just during studying time, but just remember your why. Just remember why you're doing it. Okay. Just always remember that. And if you keep that in the forefront, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of it, I'm a kind of person who likes to see progress. So I'm a person who tracks, and that's the reason why I'm really, really good at my job, because I love to see progress. I love to see me making strides. So I'm the kind of person that writes everything down. I'm a very detailed person. I write everything down. Like, even when I go on vacation, like when we go on vacation, like it's a family vacation, girl, we got an Excel sheet. We know the time, everything is happening, because that's just the kind of person I am. I'm going to plan everything out to the T. Now, we may not always follow it, but it's going to be an itinerary. There's going to be an agenda. Okay. But so for me, when I was doing my studying, that's the reason why when I talked about how I studied, I would actually do it and I would check it off that I done it. And I think that every time that I would check off, if I felt like I wanted to be here by this time, I wanted to do this by this time. If I make strides and I checked it off and I made it visual and I can see it, then I know that I'm gonna constantly keep doing it. And so figure out what's going to help you stay motivated, but also just remember the whole reason why you're doing this in the first place. Okay. So, oh, I'm glad you love it too. I love it. Let's see. Sounds like I got here late, but I watched the replay. Sorry. Okay. That would be great. What is the best? Okay, I did that. So I said Friday was the best time to catch me. Let's see. Thank you for the works that you are awesome. Okay, so this is my another thing though. This is my thing. I have been putting out videos for you guys, and so the videos that I have put out, I want to make sure that it is servicing you guys as much as possible. So, goodness gracious, this is where I wear braids. Okay, gotcha. Whew. Okay, so here's my thing. I know that I try to put out content for you guys and things like that, but I want to make sure that I'm putting out the right content for you guys. So, like I put out portfolios, I put out resumes, I put out things like that. But if you feel like that there is something that you really prefer to see over the other, then I would love to hear it so that way I can actually get that out for you. As of right now, I'm thinking about what I feel like you might want, but if you guys can tell me what you prefer to see, then that'll work. Now, somebody sent me a message and said, hey, if you could actually do some work using a Kaggle data set, a lot of your subscribers would be happy. That is something that's going to take some planning to do. That's going to take some planning to do, but I have already downloaded Power BI onto my personal laptop because of course I can't use my work laptop to do it. So I've already downloaded that, but I have to actually plan that out. Like I have to plan the Excel sheet. I have to plan that out. I have to plan how I'm going to create it. So it's going to take a minute before I can put that video up. But if you feel like that there's other things that you might want to do or want to see, let me know. You can post here, and that way I can figure out what other videos I may want to put out for you guys that I feel like that you may feel like is beneficial for you. Like, I just want to know, what is it that you feel like is really going to help you, you know? Yeah, so that's that. So any takers, any suggestions, you know? No? Okay. All right. It is 10 minutes after 1. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys do have any more questions, you can a PMI guide. Okay. Okay, a PMI guide. Okay. The Google Data Analytics course is perfect for someone who does not have any data analytics experience that is looking to get into data analytics. It's great for it. I think I tried to do it so I could talk about it in a video, but it was just way too slow for me. It was way too slow for me. So I would say if you have any data analytics experience, then that Google data won't be good for you. But if you don't have any if you don't have any data analytics experience, I think that it would be good, and it still can help you become a data analyst. It was just really slow. It was very slow for me. But yeah, so you can still become a data analyst even if you take the Google course and all of the stuff. So yeah, you can definitely become one. Sorry, have you talked about the interview guide? What interview guide? What guide are we talking about? Explain to me, Brandy, explain to me what guide we're talking about. Steph says, I second the data set. Okay. While I wait for Brandy to explain, give me more information. Okay, so I'm definitely working on that, with the whole data set. It would take a whole lot of setting up to make sure that you guys, I would have to do like a screen share and stuff like that to make sure you guys can see what it is that I'm doing. I'm probably going to have Collaberry install SQL SMS onto my laptop as well. I probably have Taiwo do that for me this weekend, and that way you can actually see me code. So you guys can actually see me code and things like that. I think it will be beneficial for you guys and things like that, for you guys to see like how to code and things. I know that I do have a WhatsApp group, and so there is a girl that's there, and she reached out to me. It was like at night, and she reached out to me, and she was like, hey, she's in the boot camp, and they're on constraints and learning things like that. And she says, I'm just keep getting the error, da, 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 da. So I jumped on and I was just like, all right, show me the screenshot. Let me see what you're talking about. So she sent it to me or whatnot. And so then I had to walk her through how, without me telling her what she did wrong, without me telling her how to do it, I had to make sure she understood. So my thing is that when it comes to SQL, if you know how to read it, you'll know how to code it. And that's what I explained to her. And so she got it. She understood. So my thing is that I can, so with the data set, I can actually show my code. I can actually, because it won't be real code. So with the Kaggle data set, I can actually show my code, show you how I code it, and then I can walk you through and explain how I got to what I got to, why I wrote it that way. One of the biggest questions I get asked a lot is, how do you know when to use a left join over another join and things like that? Being a data analyst, you don't have to know the extent of SQL like I know. It's just that, like I told you guys 1,000 times, I specialize in SQL. So that's the reason why I know the extent of it. But being a data analyst, if as long as you can know at least the basics for SQL, you're good. So if you can at least do like a select statement, you guys know your joins. Joins are important. You cannot get everything you need without a join. So at least you know your join. So that'll be your left join, right join, outer join, inner join, self join, cross join, Cartesian join, all of those. You got to know your joins. Okay. You got to know temp tables. You do need to know subqueries. Big time. You have to know subqueries. You do have to know that. To be a data analyst, you're gonna have to know, you're gonna have to be at least an intermediate coder, not a business analyst just needs to know basic. But when it comes to being a data analyst, you're going to need to at least have is some sort of intermediate coding, not advanced, intermediate. Okay. You're going to need Excel. You're going to definitely need that. Excel is you're going to need Excel. There's no ifs, ands about it. You're going to need to know pivot tables. You're going to need to H lookup, X lookup, V look. You got to know it all. You got to know how to create reports. Formulas, not so much. You can Google those. You can chat GPT those. Okay. So you don't have to know formulas, but you will need to know, but there will be some formulas you need to write. But the biggest thing you'll need as a data analyst would be pivot tables, all those lookups that we were just talking about, and then how to create like simple ad hoc queries using Excel. And then choose at least one BI tool for reporting, whether it's Tableau, Click, or Power BI. Okay. Power BI is competitive, so I'm just being honest. Not saturated, but competitive. Okay. What is the best course I am studying by myself? And then I will get in a professional institution to get a grade. Sorry for my English. Okay, let's see. What is the best course I am studying? Okay. Try Alex, the analyst on YouTube. He's free and it's good. That kind of thing. But when it comes down to the best course, my thing is that I would say that you don't have to know Python. It's good to have it, but you don't have to know it. Like if you're just trying to really just get started into data analytics, the best way to get there is to know Excel, know your SQL, and then choose some sort of reporting. If you can get those three things down, you don't have to go and get certified, and you don't have to don't become analyst. Don't be paralyzed by trying to make sure that you know everything, because you're not going to know everything. Even after me being here for so long, I still don't know everything. Okay. So my thing is that you just make sure that if you can get those three things down, master those three courses, you'll be fine. Okay, in one of your videos, you spoke about a guide to use to pass interviews. Oh, you must be talking about the PEM method. Let me post the PEM method document in my post. Okay, let me put that there. I gotta put my LinkedIn there, and then I'll attach the my PEM method. I actually was going to create a video about PEM method, but I've noticed that on my channel that when I'm teaching, I don't really see the views that I need when I'm teaching as I am when I'm just talking to you guys. So with that being said, so with that, there comes the PEM method. I can provide the document. Like I said, I'm a very detailed person, so there's going to be a lot of examples in there and things like that. So I'll just post that for you. If you have questions, you can always ask. I'm curious about where the reports are sent after they are created. Good question. Very good question. Okay. Where your reports are sent after they are created. Okay, so Power BI has workspaces. Okay, in your workspaces, like for me, I have a workspace for every single business line. So my business line could be customer service. Another one could be credit cards. Another one could be, just think of a different department. So I call them business lines, but they could be different departments. HR, whatever company you work for, the different departments. So let's say I used to work in insurance, right? So for me, we have intake, we have adjusters, we have BI, which is bodily injury. You also have PIP, so those are your injuries, your personal injuries. So it's just different departments. Okay. So that means whatever department that asks you for something, once you publish it, you can publish it into that workspace. So basically, you publish it in that folder. So that's where your projects or your reports will lie. It will lie there when it goes to production. Okay. So basically, once you are done and you hit publish, it's going to ask you what folder do you want to send it to. Okay. Now, my BI team, our business intelligence team, we have our own folder as well. So if I know that I'm just creating a general one, then all of those go into our BI. Okay. But if I know that I am creating it for a specific department, when I publish it, it will go to that folder and that's where it will stay. And so that means everybody within that department will be able to have access to it as long as you give them access to that particular report within that folder. Does that make sense? So that's where they are sent after they're done. Okay. Now, you do have your desktop as well. So your Power BI desktop. So this is just yours. Okay. And so you can pull these. This is where you do all your development. But once you publish it, it publishes to a folder. And that's where they stay. Now, if you are doing a different type of report where they say, I want this report, I just want an Excel sheet, right? I want the data just put onto an Excel sheet. Then all you have to do once you get your query and you write it out and you hit execute and you get the results, you can then export it into an Excel sheet and then you can just email it to the person who sent it, that asked you for the information. And then that'll be the whole report. And those type of reports are called ad hoc reports. And so those are the ones that are temporary or a one-time use type thing. Okay. But the ones that they're going to pull over and over, they are published to an actual folder. Now, even though it's in a folder, it still can be scheduled to go out to them every single week or day or whatever, but it will still live in that folder. Will this live be saved? Yes, it will. I have to step away. Okay, that's fine. It will be saved. It's fine. Are these SQL database internships that you are aware of that would be offered to adults making a career transition? An example, someone who has a bachelor's already and years of non-tech work experience. I do have, like I said, I do have a WhatsApp group and I work with those people. But the ones that I work with are the people, like you said, who have a bachelor's degree, probably have already had, I work with people who are currently on the market, who are already looking for a job. That's who I work with. Now, if you have questions regarding, whatever, if you just have an answer, I can answer it. Question for you, I have an answer. I can try to answer it for you. But when it comes to me mentoring people, the people that I normally work with would be the people who already have the background that they need for training and they're already on the market looking for a job, because I help them prepare for interviews and things like that. So that's where, now I don't know if there's any other ones. I don't know, but that's just mine. Okay. Also, where do you recommend learning SSIS? I have Visual Studios. Nice. Downloaded on my laptop as well. Interesting. Okay, so I know that I said this last time. This guy's name is Caleb Curry. He's also really, really good. He's on YouTube. He was a really young guy back in the day. He's a little bit older now because that was, of course, 19 years ago. But anyways, yeah, so his name is Caleb Curry, but you can always go online and order books. Now, for me, I have books that I've used when I was going through the program. I have SSIS, which is integration. I have that, and it gives you scenarios and things like that. But Brandon, be smart. Utilize AI every chance that you get. Okay. So what you can do is you can actually go on ChatGPT or Google Gemini, and you can say, create me a lesson plan to help me learn SSIS, right? SQL Server SSIS, right? And then ask it to give you scenarios and examples. And trust me, it will give you a full lesson plan, or tell them to give you a lesson plan, but it will do that for you. And so at least then you can actually fact check your work and things like that. But I promise you, do not sleep on AI. Chat GPT or Google Gemini will create a whole lesson plan for you to teach you how to learn SSIS. Utilize it. It's free. Okay. But I bought books. So you can always go on Amazon and look up SSIS books. In those books, you have hold on. I have a book. So my book might be outdated, but I think they update the versions every year or every couple years. They'll update the versions. I'm gonna see you guys right here. My office is junky. Okay. Here it is, right here. I have 1,000 books. I love to read. I read a lot of stuff that give me knowledge. I told you I don't like novels. Okay, so I do have a book on query tuning and optimization. That was that. But the book that would be great for you, Brandon, would be this one right here. So is this book right here. It's all about integration, and it has all of like step by steps, showing you how to do it. So it'll say step 1, do this, step 2, do this, run this package, configure this package, and all of that, right? It has all of that for you, and it's right here in the book. And if I'm not mistaken, like they have different like little things what you would see, and it also comes with a DVD that you can put inside. I said a DVD, chat. Yes, it comes with yeah, I think it is DVD. It comes with like a little disc that you can put into your computer if they still have that. And then that way it can actually talk for you or help you out. But I encourage you to get a book. This one is called Professional Microsoft SQL Server, but this was 2012, because remember, I came through the program in 2016, and 2012 was the SQL Server version at the time. So, and it's integration services, because that's what SSIS is, right? And so I think they may have an up-to-date version, but this was like the #1 award-winning book for learning SSIS. This will walk you step by step by step. Okay. So, I also have one on reporting. I have another one that's on delivering business intelligence. Like, y'all have no clue how many books I actually have. So invest in yourself if you need to, Brandon. So that way you can learn it. But ask ChatGPT and get you some books and all of that. And that's gonna be the best way to learn. I know that you may not be going through the boot camp that I went through. I know you may not be going through the boot camp that I went through, but HouseCalledDewberry does teach you SSIS, and that was how I learned SSIS, was through HouseCalledDewberry. It was hard, and it was intense, and it was a lot. So even though I told you the ChatGPT will help you, but Brandon, I always encourage you, in addition to that, find you someone that's going to help you through it, because it's a lot. SSIS is very challenging, but when I tell you they are like the 3rd highest paid people in the field. And so they get paid more than Power BI, Tableau. They get paid more than all those people, because it's so many of them that's in the field, but they're moving hundreds, thousands, millions rows of data. And it's a lot. And I love it. I love SSIS. So just food for thought. I will go live again next Friday, I think. What's Friday? Yeah, 3rd. Yes, I will. Let's see. My bootcamp starts on May 19th. I'm super excited and motivated. Your videos is very helpful. Oh, well, thank you. Screams. I've been using ChatGPT to practice SQL queries, girl. I mean, guys, Steph, I'm telling you, works. But also, Try to use HackerRank as well, Steph. HackerRank is really, really good. They have different levels. Again, this is not sponsored, but HackerRank is definitely good as well. I love them. I used to use them a lot when I was going through the training. And they give you different levels. You have basic, you have intermediate, and then you have advanced. And so they can start you off with basic SQL coding, and then you can go into intermediate SQL coding, and then they'll have advanced SQL coding with while loops and things like that. So yes, but I encourage you to try that as well. It is free for you to use. And the good thing about it is, Steph, is that they won't allow you to move forward until you solve it. So oh, thank you, Regina. Okay. What is SSIS and is needed in data analytics role? SSIS is not needed in data analytics, but SSIS is called SQL Server Integration Services. And so basically SSIS is a type of BI tool that is used. And the one thing that they use within SSIS is going to be ETL, which is going to be extract, transformation, and load. And so basically extract means we're going to pull the information. So you know how you extract a tooth. Sorry, I've been going to the dentist here lately, so I'm using dental analogies. But say you went to the dentist and they want to extract your tooth. So they want to pull it. They want to pull it out. So that's what you're doing. You're going to extract the data from the source that it's coming from. Okay. So that's what extract means. Transform, just because you pull the data, that does not mean that the data is clean, doesn't mean that it's good. That means the data is raw. So you have to you have to transform the data into what you want it to do. So you know how when people say, I'm transforming my life, that's what you're doing with the data. You're transforming it into a way that's going to help it be very valuable and usable when it's time for reporting. Okay. So let's say, for instance, if we were pulling information from like a health clinic or something like that, right? And a doctor sent over, so you extracted the doctor says, I put all this information into our system. So you went into the system and you extracted the information from their system, okay? But then you notice that my first name is there, my last name is there, but my social security number is not there. That means that the data is no good because the social security number is needed. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for inconsistencies. You're looking for things that are missing. You're looking for null values. You're looking for duplicates because maybe my name popped up twice. Why? So you got to figure that out. So this is where your transformation part comes in. Okay. And so within SSIS, we do what we call a conditional split. So when you're doing transformation, you kind of drag and drop a conditional split into your package. And then when you configure it, you're basically saying, if anything is null, send it here. Otherwise, send it there. Basically, you're saying anything that is not right, I want to send it back. Anything that is good, we're going to continue to move forward. So basically, you just created a Y. It's either it's good or it's not. And then once you do that, once the data and all the data that you said that was good, you're now going to load it into your database or into your staging tables. And that's where the data analyst comes in and pulls the data that the ETL person or the SSIS person has loaded into that table. Okay. So I can't pull any data if there is no data in there. And that's where my SSIS ETL data warehouse people come into play. They pull the data, clean it up and all of that, and then they put it into tables for us. Okay. And that's what SSIS is. And the reason why they get paid so much money is because it does require a lot of coding. Like you have to be very good at coding in order to do SSIS. Okay. But it is like, again, it is like if you go for a job, Mackie, my thing is that if you go for a job, if you would say you went for like Tableau, right? It may be one, you may be the only Tableau developer there, or it may be two of you. Most of the time, it's never really more than two. Okay, maybe three, depends on the size of the company, but most of the time it's probably about two, one or two. But when you go work for a company and you see the ETL, SSIS data warehouse team, it's probably about 5 or 6, 7 of them jokers, okay? Because it's so much data to move. And again, they are the third highest paid people in the field, okay? SSIS kept me back for a minute. I'm not lying. SSIS is not a joke, but I thought I wanted to do SSIS. When I got done with boot camp, that's what I wanted was SSIS. I just ended up getting an SSRS job, but hey, okay. What is the process for joining your mentorship program once someone is ready to go on the job market? I am currently in my local community college's certification program and data analytics and database. Nice. So in my videos, I try to post my WhatsApp group there. The people that are there now, they're not really talkative. They're very quiet. But I talk to them from time to time because they're quiet. But there is one guy, a couple people in there that I talk to like all the time. But yeah, so in my videos, I always just look at my descriptions. I try to post like my mentorship WhatsApp group there. So when you go, just click on that and it'll ask you and it'll send me a notification that someone wants to join, and then I'll let you in. I'm very cautious about who I let join because I've been getting a lot of spammers in there. So I got to find another way to do my mentorship. But as of right now, I may do Discord or something, but right now it's just WhatsApp. And so if you're ready to hit the market and you need help, but for me as a mentor, what I do is I pretty much help you with your resume. And I don't help you with your portfolio. I can tell you what to put in your portfolio, but the portfolio is all you because that takes a while. If you decide you don't have to have a portfolio, that is 100%. You do not have to have a portfolio. It's not required. It does help you a lot to have something to show when you go on interviews, but it is not required. Like when I was hitting the field, I did not have a portfolio. So food for thought, didn't have one. But anyways, but I can tell you what to put in your portfolio. I have a whole video on that. But I do help you with your resume. I help you with your LinkedIn. And then like when you're ready to hit the market, I can help you with your one-on-ones, to help you with your interviews, help you figure out how to break down job descriptions, how to research the person that's interviewing you and things like that. So I can definitely do that and then teach you the proper way on how to answer interview questions by selling your experience and not your knowledge. Can you put the name of the SSIS book in your detail, please? I'm driving and can't write. Okay, sure. Somebody says you're doing God's work. Listen, me and him we right here. We right here. Okay. I know you got a SQL certification right after your boot camp. I remember you mentioning that, and it's no longer available. What certifications would you complete now instead? Power BI would be a really good one. So especially if you want to be a Power BI developer, being certified is going to actually get you a little bit closer to even though like it's very competitive. So since it's so competitive, I highly encourage you to become certified. You don't have to be, but I highly encourage you to become certified like in Power BI or Tableau or Click or something like that. Data warehouse, ETL. I encourage certification, especially since the competitiveness is so high. So yeah, that's what I encourage. Now, I think there is a SQL one, but I think it's through Google. I don't think I know it's not through Microsoft. I think it's through Google. So you can check that out. I have to look that up, but I think there still is one. Okay, I think there still is one. I think there still is a SQL one. But just know that if you take that certification, it's all going to be SQL. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Guys, guess what? Listen, I got braces and let me tell you something. I feel like my mouth is like crowded right now. Anyway, so I'm just trying to get used to them. But anyways, any questions, concerns, rebuttals, anything like that? No. Let's see. Well, I'm glad you love my channel. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that you guys love my channel and things like that. Believe it or not, I tried to do YouTube before. I think it was like, oh my God. I think I tried YouTube like in 2023. I tried it. I did like one video and then I saw how long it took to edit. And I was like, heck no, I can't do this. Like it took forever. I was like, no, right? And so my son was like, oh, I'll do it. My son is 15. He's like, I'll do it. I'll edit it for you. No, trying to get a 15-year-old to sit down long enough to do anything, child. Come on. So, yeah, so I tried that back in 2023, but I made up in my mind that I was going to do it. And so I did, so I decided to, because my thing is that I still do a lot with Coleberry because they are I'm not on a time crunch this time because it's Friday. So I do a lot with Coleberry. And so because I went through the program and everything, they asked me to come back and I do help with the mentorship and stuff like that. But I talk a lot, like a lot, at Coleberry. So I used to host sessions with a lot of their students, and they used to pay me for it, but now I don't get paid. So, but I talk a lot to them. I motivate, I teach, and all this other stuff. And so I figured that I could reach broader people or more people if I went through YouTube and did the same thing I was doing for them for you guys. And so I didn't do it for the whole monetization at first. Not at first, not at first. um, but now that I am monetized, I'm like, okay, it's great. But it comes with deadlines. I mean, it comes with a lot of responsibility, I promise. But what I'm getting at is that I just felt like now that I'm ready, like I wasn't ready in 2023, but now that I'm ready and I don't have a problem sitting down and spending 6 to 8 hours editing a video and things like that. I feel like if it reached the right people, it'll reach the right people, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just that. So yeah, that's I have a LinkedIn page that's still under construction. I'll add you when you post your link. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this my last question. LinkedIn is, believe it or not, is very vital because a lot of people ask for LinkedIn, especially when you're applying for jobs. It's important that your LinkedIn page matches your resume. It needs to mimic it. Okay. So if you don't know that, your LinkedIn needs to mimic your resume. So whatever job experience you have on there on your resume needs to also be on your LinkedIn. But your LinkedIn is basically your portfolio of you. Okay, so you need to make sure that your picture is professional. You need to have like a nice little banner in the background. You need to have a good about me section, and then just breaking down your experience. Excuse me, breaking down your experience and all of that. When you're talking about things within your LinkedIn, also you can showcase your projects here, any certifications you got. Again, put those in the featured section, not the activity. And so, yeah, so my thing is your LinkedIn is important. It really, really is. And because also, if you decide to do a portfolio, your LinkedIn goes inside of your portfolio. Give them every opportunity, give every employer an opportunity to say, I'm loving this person. I love their LinkedIn. I love their resume. I love this. I love their portfolio. Like, give them something that is going to be attractive. Your resume, I mean, your LinkedIn needs to be just as attractive as your resume, and it just does. Okay. Your LinkedIn is important. Okay. Do you know if one can attend a boot camp? Do you suggest a junior college or university for data analysis? Yes, I do recommend that. My first job that I had back in 2016, my boss, he he used to say, Renee, I don't have any certification of any kind, so I applaud you for getting one. That's what he used to say. But he says, I don't even have a college degree. He says, what I did is when I left high school, he says I took a few night classes to learn about data analytics at my local college, and here I am today. And he was my boss. So that shows you that you don't have to have a college degree, you don't have to be certified, you don't have to have any of that. But I do say that if you do decide, if you don't do a boot camp, self-taught is great. It's just not for me. Self-teaching is not for me because I'm not disciplined enough. Because, honey, I will venture off in a heartbeat and start scrolling. So on my phone. But my thing is that at least then, if you do a local community college or something like that, take a couple of night classes or day classes or whatever. But at least then you have accountability. You have someone that's going to hold you accountable to make sure you get your work turned in on time, to make sure that you understanding the lesson. You have someone there that actually knows. Because for me, if I'm self-taught, I don't know if I got that right or not. Hell, if I don't know and I'm teaching myself, that's not good for anybody. Okay, that's just my opinion. Some people are better at it. I'm just talking about for me. But if I didn't do a boot camp, yeah, night school would be great for me, because, like I said, you have someone who already has the knowledge and experience that can fact check your work to make sure that you are actually doing it right. So yes, Mela, that's exactly what I feel like that should be done. If you don't want to do a boot camp, because boot camps can be expensive, then you can definitely do a local community college. Nobody's saying that you you got to go 4 years, whatever. Just take you a couple of night classes. Baby, pay you about $300, take you about 2 classes at night to learn at least Excel or SQL, at least SQL. Teach you that, and then you can learn Power BI. You can learn Excel, but if you can get some sort of coding and let someone teach you how to do it properly, you'll be good to go. Good to go. That's all you need. Community college, I still highly recommend. Yeah. Good evening. It has been a really tough day. I'm finally headed out now, but first, a little solo relaxation. Wishing you all a lovely evening and sending a hug. Gave it a like. Oh, thank you. All righty. Yes. So somebody said, yes, accountability is what I need. Yes, accountability is everything. That was the reason why I was talking to Ali about the boot camp. So when you do the first part, which is the DA boot camp, it's all about accountability. You have class every Tuesday, every Saturday. They make sure you got to make sure your work is turned in right before, your homework is turned in before then, right? But when you do that second phase, it's kind of like college. Nobody's there telling you to get up and go to class. Nobody's there telling you to turn in your homework. Nobody's telling you to do that. There is no accountability. So you're going to be very disciplined in that second phase. So my thing is that accountability is everything. So I encourage you, if you want somebody to fact check your work and hold you accountable, attend a community college or night classes and put that on your resume. Put it on your resume that you just, nobody's saying that you have to graduate. Just say you took a few night classes or day classes. Nobody care. Again, it is not required. Yeah, good. Access to the school's career resource center and potential internships. Yep. I encourage internships all the way. Internships will get your foot in the door all the way. Okay. I know that the company that I work for, every summer we hire interns. And they are the best because I treat them like an assistant. I'll be like, hey, so this report that I have right here, I've already put in the data. If you can just go ahead and just change out the colors for me and add the logo and finish up the finishing touches and send it back to me so I can review it and we can go ahead and publish this out. Like to give them that experience working on projects and things like that. That kind of thing. So love them. Love them. All right. Any other questions? Seriously, any other questions before I go? No? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. Again, we'll be back next Friday at 12:30 on the dot for another live video. I have people that reaches out to me a lot about, I know a lot of my people who watch my videos are aspiring data analysts, and a lot of people are afraid to start. I know one person reached out to me and she said, I want to do it, but I can't guarantee I'm going to get a job, and I don't want to lose my job because it's already tough out here. The economy is already hard. And so I don't want to quit this job to try to pursue this job, and then it don't work. And now I don't have another job to back up, and I got bills. Baby, I get it. So I definitely want to address that. I have a lot of people who want to be a data analyst, but still have not taken that leap. And so I definitely want to address that as well. Okay. So anyways, like I said, that's all that I have for today. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to try to get me something to eat, and then I have to go grocery shopping because who's off work for the day is me. See, that's the great thing about being data analyst, honey. You ain't got to work all day. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and a happy Friday. And again, I will be in New Orleans. I got the date now. I will be in New Orleans on, I'm talking to my assistant, May the 9th, May the 9th through the 11th. So Mother's Day. So I have an assistant. So I was trying to ask him, like, what's the date? Yeah, so May the 9th through the 11th, I will be in New Orleans. We're going to be there for a graduation, but I will be there. And so if you see me, even if I'm with my son, even if you just see me sitting down having dinner or whatever, please stop. Please say hello. I would love to say hello. I may be vlogging while I'm there. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I would love to see you guys if you are there in New Orleans or maybe even Mississippi or whatever. Would love to see you guys. So, okay. So anyways, again, you guys have a great weekend, and this video should post. I think it's going to process and then just give it a few minutes and it should post. And then I will put the title of that book that I had for the ladies who I always look at her picture and I'll be like, why does she look like Diane Curl? I'm like, that is Diane Curl. So, anyways, I will put that picture. I will put that the title of that book on there for you, and I'll put my LinkedIn and then also my WhatsApp. It's gonna go inside of my post, or shall I say, the description of this video. Okay. All right. That is all I have, and you guys have a good one. And then the ones who are going to be in the class on tomorrow, I will see you in the morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.